Look at these two men for a second. The first one is dripping in logos. A designer jacket, a flashy watch catching the light, the keys to a brand new luxury car spinning on his finger. The second one is in a plain hoodie and sneakers you would walk right past. Now answer honestly. Which one is the millionaire? If you guessed the flashy one, you just fell for the oldest illusion in money. Because 9 times out of 10, the man covered in logos is broke, and the quiet one in the hoodie quietly owns half the street. Here is the uncomfortable truth. The people who try hardest to look rich are almost never the people who actually are. Real wealth is quiet. It sits in investment accounts and paid-off houses you will never see on Instagram. Fake wealth is loud because it has to be. It lives entirely on the surface, propped up by financing, credit cards, and the desperate need for you to be impressed. And it is a trap almost everyone falls into because the signals are designed to fool us. We are wired to read expensive things as proof of success, so a flashy car or a designer bag triggers instant respect, no questions asked. The fake rich exploit exactly that reflex. They cannot hand you a big bank balance to look at, so they hand you symbols instead. And they bet, usually correctly, that you will never ask how any of it was actually paid for. So today I am giving you the 10 signs that someone is fake rich, the tells that separate the truly wealthy from the people just performing wealth on borrowed money. And watch closely because sign number 7 exposes them in a single conversation, and the last one is the difference between looking rich and actually being free. Welcome back to the Frugal Banker. I am Clara. And if you have been here before, you know my favorite kind of wealth is the quiet kind, the kind nobody can see. So this one is personal, because the louder someone shouts about money, the more I assume they do not have it. Here is the one idea behind all 10 signs. There is a giant difference between looking rich and being rich, and most people spend their whole lives chasing the wrong one. Looking rich costs you money every single day. Being rich means money quietly works for you in the background where no one can applaud. Fake rich is a costume. Real rich is a balance sheet. Keep that in mind, and these 10 signs will jump out at you everywhere. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You will start spotting it in coworkers, in influencers, maybe even in a few old habits of your own. This is not about judging anyone because the pressure to perform wealth is brutal and constant. It is about protecting yourself, so you stop being impressed by costumes and you stop being tempted to buy one. Let us start. Sign 1. They are a walking billboard of logos. The fake rich wear their price tags on the outside. Big visible logos, monograms, anything that screams a brand name across the room. The whole point is for you to know exactly how much it cost. It is not clothing, it is signaling, a costume designed to broadcast a status they have not actually earned. Now look at how the genuinely wealthy dress. Quiet, plain, even. They have nothing to prove, so they buy quality you cannot see and would never recognize. There is a reason the phrase quiet luxury exists. The richer people actually get, the less they tend to announce it, because their security comes from their bank account, not from your reaction to their jacket. So here is the tell. When someone is covered head to toe in loud, obvious logos, ask yourself who that outfit is really for. It is for strangers. It is a performance aimed at people they will never meet. Truly wealthy people dress for themselves and for comfort. Fake rich people dress for an audience, and that audience is costing them a fortune. A quick example, picture 2 women at the same party. One is carrying a bag with a giant logo splashed across it, $3,000 on a payment plan. The other has a simple, beautifully made bag, no logo, paid in cash, that she will use for 20 years. The room notices the first woman. The bank account belongs to the second. Loud logos are not proof of money. They are a receipt for insecurity and very often for debt. Sign 2. The luxury car they cannot actually afford. Nothing says fake rich like an expensive car sitting in front of a cheap apartment. The flashy vehicle is the #1 prop of pretend wealth because it is the loudest, most visible status symbol money can borrow. And borrow is the key word because almost none of it is actually paid for. Here is what they never tell you. That car is a depreciating asset, which is a polite way of saying it loses value every single day they own it. They are making a huge monthly payment plus insurance plus maintenance on something that is actively getting cheaper. They did not buy an asset, they rented a feeling, and that feeling is bleeding them dry every month. Meanwhile, study after study of actual millionaires finds the same boring thing. Most of them drive normal, reliable, unremarkable cars, and they keep them for years. They would rather own the dealership than impress the people at the stoplight. So when the car is screaming wealth but everything behind it is silent, that is not money. That is a monthly payment in disguise. Run the real numbers once and it stops being glamorous. A luxury car can quietly eat well over $1,000 a month between the payment, the insurance, the premium fuel, and the repairs. Over a few years, that is a down payment on a house or a serious start on an investment account set on fire for the privilege of impressing strangers at red lights. The truly rich did that math and decided the applause was not worth the price. Sign 3. Their whole life is a social media highlight reel. Private jet photos, stacks of cash, fancy dinners, exotic trips, all carefully staged for the feed. If someone's online life looks like a non-stop luxury commercial, be very suspicious, because a huge amount of that content is rented, borrowed, or flat out faked just for the photo. This has become an entire industry. You can rent a private jet set that never leaves the ground just for pictures. You can rent designer bags by the week. The fake rich pour real money into manufacturing fake proof of a lifestyle they do not live. They are not wealthy. They are set designers, and the set is their own life. Now here is the twist. The genuinely wealthy often have the most boring social media on earth or none at all. To them, broadcasting money is a security risk and frankly a little embarrassing. So the equation is simple. The more someone's life looks like a luxury ad, the more you should wonder who is actually paying for the production and whether the answer is a credit card. And remember, you are only ever seeing the highlights, never the bill. You see the rented jet, not the credit card statement. You see the 5-star dinner, not the roommate situation back home. Social media is a brochure people write for themselves, and the fake rich are the most aggressive marketers of all. The quietly wealthy have no need to advertise because they are not selling anyone an image of a life they wish they had. Sign 4, all flash on the outside, nothing they actually own. This is the heart of it. The fake rich are surrounded by expensive things, but almost none of those things are real wealth. A leased car, a financed watch, a closet of clothes, a rented apartment, it looks like a fortune. On the balance sheet, it is a pile of liabilities and depreciating junk. Here is the distinction that separates the two worlds. Real wealth is built on assets, things that put money into your pocket or grow in value, like investments, a business, or property you own. Fake wealth is built on liabilities, things that take money out of your pocket every month. The fake rich person and the truly rich person can own the exact same shiny objects. The difference is one of them paid cash and still has a fortune left over, and the other is making payments on all of it. So stop looking at the stuff and start looking at the math. Net worth is everything you own minus everything you owe. The fake rich have a big pile of stuff and an even bigger pile of debt, which means their real net worth can be near zero or negative. The quiet millionaire might own far less flashy stuff and have a fortune in the bank. You cannot see net worth. That is exactly why it is the only number that tells the truth. Try it as a thought experiment with anyone who looks rich. If they sold everything today and paid off every debt, what would actually be left? For the truly wealthy, a fortune remains. For the fake rich, the answer is often close to nothing, and sometimes less than nothing. The stuff was never really theirs. It belonged to the bank, dressed up to look like success. Sign 5, they never stop talking about money. How much they spent, how much it cost, how much they make, the deal they just closed. The fake rich treat money like a conversation topic, constantly steering things toward their own wealth. And it makes sense because if the wealth is not real on the balance sheet, the only place it can exist is in the talking. Truly wealthy people are usually the opposite, almost secretive about it. They rarely volunteer what things cost, they downplay their success, and they get visibly uncomfortable when money becomes the topic. Part of it is privacy, part is security, and part is simply that they have nothing to prove. When you already have it, you do not need to announce it. So listen to the volume. The person constantly broadcasting numbers, prices, and how well they are doing is usually performing. The person who deflects, stays vague, and changes the subject is often the one who actually has it. In money, like in most things, the emptiest cans rattle the loudest, and the full ones barely make a sound. There is even a simple reason for it. When your wealth is real and growing in the background, talking about it brings nothing but risk and unwanted attention. But when your wealth is just a feeling, Talking about it is the only way to make it feel real, for you and for everyone listening. So the bragging is not confidence. It is the sound of someone quietly trying to convince themselves. Sign 6. They are one surprise bill away from total collapse. This is the crack in the costume. The fake rich look completely secure until life sends a single unexpected expense. A car repair, a medical bill, a slow month at work, and suddenly the whole glittering picture wobbles because there is nothing underneath it. No savings, no cushion, no safety net at all. Watch how they react to small financial shocks. If someone appears to live in luxury but quietly panics over a surprise $400 bill, that tells you everything. Their lifestyle is running at 100% of their income or more. Every dollar is already committed to keeping up the appearance, so there is simply nothing left to absorb a punch. Real wealth is the exact opposite of fragile. It is calm because it has a cushion. The quietly rich keep months or years of expenses set aside, so a surprise bill is a minor annoyance, not a crisis. That calm is the real luxury, and it is invisible, so the question that cuts through every costume is simple. Could they survive 3 months with no income? The fake rich cannot last 3 weeks. This is why so many big spenders quietly live in constant low-grade panic. From the outside, it looks like the good life. On the inside, it is a tightrope with no net, and they know it. Every month is a scramble to keep the plates spinning. Real wealth feels like the exact opposite of that. It feels like a deep breath. The quiet certainty that whatever happens, you are going to be just fine. Quick gut check before the second half. And these last 4 are the sharpest ones. Be honest down in the comments. Have you ever caught yourself doing any of these, buying the look instead of the wealth? No shame, we have all felt that pull. The whole world is designed to push us into it. And if you are choosing real wealth over the costume, you already know what to do with that subscribe button, quietly. And here's something to sit with as we go. Some of the most genuinely wealthy people you have ever walked past, you never noticed at all. That is the entire point. They are invisible on purpose. Now, the tells that give them away instantly. Sign 7, the one that exposes them in a single conversation. Ask them anything real about money, and the lights go out. The fake rich can talk for hours about what they bought, but ask a simple question about how they actually grow their money, and you get a blank stare, a vague answer, or a quick change of subject. The spending vocabulary is fluent. The wealth vocabulary does not exist. Genuinely wealthy people are almost the opposite. They got rich by understanding money, so they can talk easily about compounding, index funds, assets, cash flow, the boring machinery that actually builds fortunes. It is second nature because it is how they got there. You do not accidentally stay rich. You stay rich by knowing exactly how the money works. So here's the test you can run at any dinner table. Gently steer the conversation from spending to building. Ask what they're investing in, how they think about the long term. The person who lights up and goes deep probably has it. The person who deflects, name drops a brand, or suddenly needs another drink is usually performing. Real wealth can explain itself. Fake wealth can only change the subject. And you do not need to be an expert to run this test. You just need to ask one sincere follow-up question and listen. Real wealth gets specific and a little nerdy. Fake wealth stays vague and quickly pivots back to a story about something they bought. The truth is, you cannot fake a deep understanding of money for more than about 2 questions. And that is usually all it takes. Sign 8. They are always chasing the next quick flip. The fake rich are addicted to speed. They jump from hot crypto coin to day trading to some dubious passive income scheme, always hunting the shortcut that makes them rich by next month. The appeal is obvious. They want the lifestyle now, so they need the money fast, and patience feels like the enemy. Real wealth is built in almost the opposite way. Slowly, boringly, through steady investing, patience, and decades of compounding that nobody films for social media. The quietly rich are not chasing a jackpot, they are letting time do the heavy lifting. They know that the fastest way to lose money is to be in a hurry to get rich. So notice the pattern. The person with a brand new get-rich scheme every few months, riding the hype, panicking on the dips, is usually not building anything. They are gambling to fund an image. The person doing the same boring, consistent thing year after year, the one whose strategy sounds almost too simple, is the one quietly getting wealthy while no one is watching. And notice who is selling the shortcuts. The fake rich are often the loudest promoters of get-rich-quick ideas because recruiting you makes them feel successful, And sometimes it pays their bills. The quietly wealthy almost never have something urgent to sell you. They are too busy doing the slow, unglamorous thing that actually works, and they are in no hurry because they already know how the story ends. Sign 9, they always need the newest version of everything. The latest phone the day it drops, a newer car every couple of years, the constant upgrade whether they need it or not. For the fake rich, owning last year's model feels like a public admission of failure, so they stay on a treadmill of upgrades they cannot actually afford. The quietly wealthy are weirdly comfortable with old stuff. They will use the same phone until it dies, drive the same car for a decade, and feel zero shame about it because their identity is not attached to having the newest thing. They have nothing to prove, so a 3-year-old phone is just a phone that still works. And this is one of the most expensive habits there is, precisely because it never ends. There is always a newer model, a better version, a fresh reason to spend. The fake rich are running a race with no finish line, paying full price to feel current for a few months at a time. The truly rich simply step off the treadmill and quietly keep the money instead. Add it up over a lifetime and it is staggering. A new phone every year, a newer car every 2 or 3, the constant small upgrades can quietly cost tens of thousands of dollars that could have been invested instead. The fake rich pay that tax forever just to feel current. The truly rich let last year's model keep working and let the difference compound into the kind of freedom no upgrade can ever buy. Sign 10, the one that ties it all together. They are renting an entire lifestyle they do not own. Step back and look at the whole picture and you see it. The car is leased, the apartment is rented at the very top of their budget. The watch is financed, the clothes are on the card, nothing in the beautiful picture is actually theirs. They are paying every month to borrow the appearance of a life. And here's the cost nobody talks about. Every dollar spent renting that appearance is a dollar that never becomes real wealth. They trade their actual future, their freedom, their security, for the applause of strangers today. The truly rich made the opposite trade. They gave up looking impressive now so they could quietly own their time later. One bought a costume, the other bought freedom. And the cruelest part is what that trade costs over the years. The money spent renting an image for a decade, if it had simply been invested instead, could have become real, permanent wealth, the kind that finally ends the need to perform at all. They were always so close, they often had the income to actually get there. They just spent it convincing strangers they were already rich. So that is the real lesson behind all 10 signs. The goal was never to look rich. The goal is to be free. To wake up one day and not need a job, a boss, or anyone's approval, because the money quietly works while you sleep. That kind of wealth is invisible on purpose, and the people who have it are almost never the ones you would guess. Think about that for a second. The quiet coworker who drives the old car and brings lunch from home might retire a full decade before the flashy one with the leased sports car. Not because they earned more, but because they never burned a fortune trying to look like they had one. They played a completely different game, a quieter game, and that is the game that actually wins. So let us go back to those 2 men from the very beginning. The one covered in logos with the leased car and the loud life, and the quiet one in the plain hoodie. Now you can see them clearly. One is performing wealth and paying for it every month. The other is quietly building it where no one can see. The whole game was never about the costume. It was about which man actually owns his life. If even one of these signs felt a little too familiar, do not feel bad. The entire world is engineered to make you choose the costume. Just start choosing the other thing. Quietly, one decision at a time. Buy the asset, not the appearance. And subscribe, quietly, like everything else we do around here. Coming up next, why your 40s quietly decide whether you retire comfortable or stressed. And most people only realize it a little too late. I am Clara. Stay quiet, stay rich, and I will see you there.